Hi everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be talking about tour of Utah. And where are we at? We're in Spanish Fork, Utah. And that is coming up right after this. Hi everybody, welcome back to Traveling with Justin. I am Justin, and today we are going to tour Spanish Fork, Utah, and I'll tell you a little bit about Spanish Fork and everything while we're walking along. We're gonna walk down Main Street right now. All right, so we're currently here. This is Main Street here in Spanish Fork. It's the major street through Spanish Fork. It comes off the only exit here in Spanish Fork. I'll explain that. I'll show that here in a minute. So as we're walking down, we're on the west side of Spanish Fork right now, walking down the main street here. You might notice that there's some chairs and stuff set out. That is for the Fiesta Day Parade, which is on July 24th. That's tomorrow. I'll explain Fiesta Days here at the end of the video and then in the next video as well. But let's talk about Spanish Fork. Okay, so it's in the state of Utah, in the county of Utah, and it's just south of Provo. Okay, it was settled in 1851. It was incorporated on January the 17th of 1855. It was named after a river, or some call it a stream. The total area is 16.21 square miles, and the land area is 16.21 square miles, and the water is 0. It sits at an elevation of 4,666 feet. The population is 42,602 people. That is a density of 2,600 people per square mile. The time zones are UTC -7 and UTC -6. That's for the summertime. And of course, the website is SpanishFork.gov. All right, so some of the history here in Spanish Fork. Okay. In 1776, two friars from Spain, they were traveling through the canyon here in Spanish Fork, looking for a shortcut from Santa Fe, New Mexico to, or you can call it a shortcut or another way to get from Santa Fe, New Mexico to the Spanish missions in California. They came along and saw this area. And it was also inhabited by the Ute tribe. All right, so in the year 1851, Mormon pioneers, or members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as they were settling the territory of Utah, they came and they settled Spanish Fork. Okay? And they had a little bit of scrummage with the local Ute tribes here in Spanish Fork, and then Abraham Lincoln, the president there, signed an executive order telling the Utes to move on and go to the Uinta Basin, basically forcing them to relocate. And since the pioneers from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they had immigrants coming all over from everywhere. 1855 started the arrival of Iceland converts to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, okay? And they got kicked out of their country after they converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So they made their way here to the United States, crossed the plains, and settled here in Spanish Fork, thus becoming the first Icelandic permanent settlement in the United States of America. All right, yeah, so Spanish Fork City has its own TV station here. They also have a link out there on YouTube. I'll link it down below if you ever want to go out and take a look at it. But yeah, so yeah, Springville City they've got it going on down here. They've got a 1 gigabit fiber. It's called the Spanish Fork Community Network. And that, along with the TV station, it's got Spanish Fork pretty much connected. All right, so you might be thinking, Justin, what type of culture is there in Spanish Fork? Do you have any arts or anything like that? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Icelandic Days. We talked about that from earlier in the thing about how members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints made their way from Iceland over here to Spanish Fork, and they settled here in Spanish Fork. And so that happens on June 17th of every year. And then there's the Harvest Moon, and that's held on a Saturday in September, whichever is closest to the first full moon, or the full moon. And then we have the Festival of Colors. That is held at the Krishna Temple. Here's a photo of it. And that celebrates Holi. And that happens around Memorial Day. And then we have Fiesta Days. Of course, Fiesta Days, well, I'll touch a lot more on Fiesta Day next week. Basically what that is just a celebration around the time that Utah was settled by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, July 24th. All right? And then, as always, I want to encourage you guys, if you ever go to a new place, I would say, hey, seek out the local restaurants, the ones that are run by the community, like mom, pa's. Okay? So, like, we have Lucky Five. It's a Chinese joint here on Spanish Fork, Maine. We've got Stone Drug. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And then we have Glades and Berries. I'm sure there's a lot more. Little Acorn. That's on its way up the Spanish Fork Canyon. There's probably a lot more than I am missing. But you check out those restaurants and support the local community, because they go to support them and their kids and things like that. They don't go and support someone's CEO buying a new house or a new boat. So Stone Drug across the street here, we walked past it a little bit earlier. It's a pharmacy / retail center and stuff like that, but they do have a restaurant in there, like a little soda bar where you can go and get sodas or hamburgers or shakes and stuff like that. So that's a pretty unique thing here in Spanish Fork. All right, so the fire station here is located on Main Street. There's one up on the east side of Spanish Fork. They used to be volunteer, but now they are a paid fire station. So that comes in handy if there's ever a fire. All right, so you're thinking to yourself, Justin, what does Spanish Fork has to offer for recreation and stuff like that? Well, if you're really into baseball, you can come to the Spanish Fork sports park down here on the south end of Spanish Fork, and they've got plenty of baseball diamonds here where you can play co-ed softball, men's softball, women's softball, baseball, little kid, they have little league baseball here and things like that. And if that doesn't suit your fancy, they actually are building a new rec center right over there. But if you're like, there's something else. Yeah, there's Spanish Forks. That's an 18-hole golf course. There's a disc golfing course just right down there. Here it is. Here's some video of the disc golfing. So we're right here at hole number 1. It goes 1, then 2, then 3. Okay. And we got 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we walk over here to 8, down, go here to 9. 10, we go 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18 right up there. And so that they have what's called an all abilities park. And that's where you can go and take your kids of any age and with any ability, and you can go play at this park. It's really super cool. Here's a picture of it. It's just called the New Heights Park right here. But I didn't go inside because I don't want to get pictures of kids and stuff like that. But there's that park. There's the Canyon View Park where they have a little pond. You can hang out there. You can do lots of things in that park. They even have a camping ground right there on top. There is a gun range at Spanish Fork Reservoir. You can go and fish or swim in that. And you can also go up Spanish Fork Canyon. And there's lots of hiking and things like that up Spanish Fork Canyon. And so there is a lot of things you can do here in Spanish Fork. Okay, it's just not about baseball. If you want to, you just come and relax and just take in the beauty of the surrounding areas. All right, so one thing that Spanish Fork does really super good are these walkable trails, or you can ride scooters and stuff like that, or bikes or something like that. They do have a speed limit of 15 miles an hour, but like this map right here. Let's take this map for example. Okay, so we are right here at this disc golf course, okay? We're probably about right here, and you can walk around the disc golf course, or you can walk up to Center Street, and you can walk around this neighborhood if you want, but you can come right here and go to the sports park the back way, and then go clear down here, and then go clear around and clear over here, okay? Or you can go up here. They don't have that many up here on this section of the map quite yet, but they're working on that. So, but yeah, you can do a lot of different walking. Pretty soon, the goal is, I do believe, is to have everything connected so you can walk from, say, the disc golf course over here, and you can walk clear up here to Maple Mountain High School. All right, so yeah, that is the plan. But we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, so let's take a look at some of the walkway. Yeah, like I said, the speed limit's 15 miles an hour through here. And of course that's got, so they got the West Loop Trail, they got the Sports Park, and they got the Poplar Lane Trail, okay? Yeah, as we're walking, we're down here by the disc golf course here at Spanish Fork. This is where you can come down here and disc golf, but right now, this is part of the Fiesta Days. They have a tournament going on today. It's a little bit before the actual Fiesta Days. Along the trail, they also have these little green boxes for people to pick up after their pets, because some people don't actually pick up after their pets, and that's really super rude. Got some nice restrooms right here, and a drinking fountain right here on the side of the disc park. All right, so Spanish Fork, yeah, is known for baseball. There's the region titles right here. And then there's the state championships. They've won several of them. I do believe they won this year in 2025. And then there's the state runner-up. If you guys ever want to know, right now when I'm filming this video at 8:07 at night, it is still 88 degrees outside. So it is a very warm night. So let's talk about some notable people here from Spanish Fork. Isaac Asteria, he's a football player. Then we got D. Eldon Beck, he's an educator. Scott Dunfield, he's a football player. Kate B. Carter, a Utah pioneer historian. Zabelev Colin, Utah pioneer. Casey Field, a bareback bull rider. Yeah, famous one too. Jaron Hall, he's a football player, quarterback. Kelly Helvetson. So if you're familiar with World War II, okay, after it was liberated, Berlin was blockaded by the Soviets, and we couldn't get supplies and stuff into West Berlin. So Gal Helvetson, he was a U.S. Air Force candy bomber. I mean, he flew over and was throwing candy outside of his airplane. And so he became known as the candy bomber. He's actually from Spanish Fork, Utah. Abe Jenkins, a politician and a racing driver. So Lucky Blue Smith is a male model. Stephen M. Strudert, he's an advisor to the 3 presidents. Hefa Luane Tulia is a dancer. So there are some people from Spanish Fork that is notable. I mean, that candy bomber is pretty cool, throwing candy out of his window. He had parachutes on it, of course, and they would float down to the earth and they would have candy for the kids there in West Berlin. And then, of course, Jaron Hall, he went to BYU, and he played for the Minnesota Vikings for a little bit, but I'm not sure where he is at now. But those are some of the notable people here in Spanish Fork. Okay, so here's a fact, okay? Spanish Fork is known to be the baseball capital of Utah Valley. All right, they have some sports park right here in Spanish Fork, which I'll get to here in a minute. And Spanish Fork High School has won several national championships in baseball, but yet not one notable person that I mentioned played baseball, professional baseball. So there you go. There's some football players, but yeah, so that's kind of ironic, isn't it? This right here, this intersection right here, is the main entrance exit off I-15 to Spanish Fork. So you can get on the freeway northbound here, you can get on the freeway southbound here as well, and this is how you get off of the freeway to go up Highway 6, which is this road right here. That goes up to Spanish Fork Canyon, and it's a pretty busy road, all right? So right here, as you can see it, it's at night. You can't really see the exit very well, but this is at night. And so, yeah, this is a very, very busy freeway system. There is one in the south part of Spanish Fork, but this is the main one right here. If you're coming northbound, you can take that and still. So the one in the south is mostly used for Benjamin, Salem, and the communities down in that direction. So as we're driving through here, we've got a retail area over here. We got a Cinemark right over there. So we do. Spanish Fork does have a movie theater. But as we're coming up here, you know, we've got some retail stores up here on the left, right up here. As you can see, there's like a Buckle, there's like a At Homes and things like that in there. So that's a small little retail place, a little strip mall. And over here we've got a Panda. You can see that. So yeah, there's the Walmart. We have a Ross right up here, and we have a PetSmart, or a Petco. We have Olive Garden, we have a Chick-fil-A, we have other different types of fast food places up in here. There's a Target over there as well. So we do have some big box stores here in Spanish Fork. We have a Lowe's. We'll go over here and we'll show you Lowe's. And then right here we have a Hobby Lobby, and we have other little tiny businesses over there, like a SAG and stuff like that. But yeah, we have a Hobby Lobby, and we have a Boot Barn. Then right over there is Lowe's. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of Spanish Fork. Yeah, it's a unique little town here in Utah Valley. just south of Provo, south of Springville. And it's a pretty nice place to visit. Yeah, Highway 6, if you're going up the canyon, it is kind of a dangerous highway. But just to think of that, you know, keep that on your back of your mind. But if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you want to, hit subscribe down there, because I do travel adventures, and I am actually going around the state of Utah to show you exactly what Utah has to offer, because the Olympics are coming back to Salt Lake City, the Winter Olympics, and so give you a fresh perspective on what's there to do in Utah. So yeah, hit subscribe, give that bell notification a slap or a push of the button, and I'll get notified every time I push out a video. All right, guys, until the next one, I will see you later. Bye.